This is Ryan at SFS showing you a super simple process we use to sign up new clients using the SFS system. You can just take this process and duplicate it, and I guarantee you're going to get tons of leads, tons of client opportunities, and frankly, probably more business than you can even pay attention to. The funnel that we built here actually has generated way more leads than we presently have the time to follow up on. So I'm going to show you 3 net new clients that we signed up from this process. What I'm also going to show you is that there are a ton of other leads that we could have converted into business from this and still can. And this process is likely to generate 10 to 20 new clients very quickly for you if you have the bandwidth and scalability in place. So before that, why should you listen to me? So back in 2014, I built a recruiting agency that scaled to 7 figures in 7 months. 2 years later, I agreed to an unsolicited offer to purchase from a much bigger agency and had a successful exit. It enabled me to grow our internal team, expand to multiple brick and mortar locations, and achieve momentum in a niche. And it turns out that wasn't a fluke. For the last 6 years, I've helped dozens and dozens of wildly successful agencies that started from nothing, such as Restaurant Zone and Keeple, scaled to 7 and 8 figures and beyond. And I'm going to absolutely make sure that you get there too if you're ready to commit. So let's do it. So this particular example is for one of the agencies we work with. The owner of this agency is completely new to the business, and we were able to start their agency from scratch and generate dozens of client opportunities within 30 days of going to market. I'll actually show you the proof of these client agreements that we were able to sign up. The niche that we're working within here is the industrial sector. And this first company that I'm showing you is a $6 billion manufacturing company. And the email from them is right here. So it says that's actually after we signed up. So you can see here that the agreement was finalized. So Monica says, thank you for your work and support in finalizing the agreement. We're thrilled to be moving forward with your team. With a signed agreement in place, our next step would be to set up a follow-up call to discuss details on the open roles you'd like us to work on, assuming the electrical controls position is complete. Is there a good day and time to meet with you next, to connect with you? And then this person from the company says, hi Monica, no questions, but I do have a couple of requests. Can I please get this document in PDF format? Oh, this was actually before it was signed. She wanted it the old-fashioned way. We usually send it through a DocuSign type of platform. And in this case, they wanted to print it out and sign it the old-fashioned way. Some clients are kind of old school that way. So that's what happened in this case. The second company is a $15 billion company, which is a steel-based technology and capital goods company. They build steel, automotive, railway systems. And so the email from them goes a little something like this. Hello, Monica. Thank you for working with our team to get an agreement in place. We're currently hiring a controller to join the team in Duncansville. I've attached the description for your review. Compensation would vary based on years of experience. Do you have any candidates in your pipeline, etc.? And you can see here just the process of getting this agreement signed. This is when it was actually signed through the online DocuSign platform. This is them saying, good morning, Monica. Please find this company's legal response to the agreement. This is our standard recruiting services agreement. Please sign this and return it back to me. And then the third company is a 400 headcount construction company that specializes in industrial infrastructure, heavy civil and marine projects. Let's go ahead and find that one. So he just says, sorry for the delay. I asked for HR to process this. It took a few days. Moving forward, please forward resumes as discussed. I will get something out for the superintendent put together. We need someone with experience in bridge construction, deep foundations, pile driving, and or marine construction. DOT or DOD work experience is a must. That means Department of Defense. This company actually started us off with 5 orders right off the bat. A lot of times they give you 1 or 2 of their hardest orders that they want you to fill to start things off, kind of prove yourself. In this case, this company just went ahead and gave us 5 orders right off the bat, a couple $100,000 of business. But that's not even close to all of the leads. We've already gone through these emails here. Can you please send over the signed agreement as soon as possible? You can see a whole bunch of other leads coming into this inbox lately. Monica, do you have a resume for this candidate? If so, please forward for my review. So I'm going to show you the actual campaign that we send. A lot of it is MPC marketing, most placeable candidate marketing, actually marketing the inventory that your agency has on its sort of talent bench It's a really important part of marketing in this business, and it's very, very effective if you do it the right way. So you're going to get this response a lot, which is, yes, we're interested in a profile like this. Can you send over the resume? And we don't send over resumes. There's a number of reasons for that. Number one, even if you redact all of the information, so you take away all the contact information, you take away the name, you scrub the resume as best you can, the company can still track down that candidate potentially just using the clues from the resume. And we don't want that to happen, obviously. So at this point, when there's really no relationship and no rapport, there's no agreement in place, and there's no reason to trust a prospect that they're not going to try to go around you and essentially take something for free when you've done the work to, source that candidate and build a relationship with them. So we don't want that to happen. The next thing is that what's going to happen is this whole process, there's going to be a bit of a conversation. There's going to be a little bit of back and forth. And by the time this whole thing is said and done, what you're going to find is you're going to have to go and find a new candidate a really high percentage of the time. So it really doesn't make any sense for them to get their heart set on just one candidate. That's number two. So usually you're going to have to go and find another candidate. Principle behind this exercise is you're showing your expertise, you're showing the type of talent that you specialize in, and you're indicating that you kind of understand what it is that they're looking for and that you can cut to the heart of what it is that meets the requirements right off the bat. So it's sort of a demonstration of your capability, and it's a demonstration of your inventory, and it's a demonstration that you get it, that you understand this niche, and that you understand the type of talent that is placeable in this niche. Number three is that we're sending this out to a lot of people. There's no way that you have gotten consent from your candidate to send out their resume and their information to all of these random, essentially strangers who are hiring managers, and maybe they are interested in getting the resume out to a wide audience, but nonetheless, you don't have the consent of your candidate to go and just fire it out to whoever willy-nilly. So at no point should you ever send a resume at this point. There's no agreement in place. You haven't got the buy-in from your candidate. And that's essentially what the response is in this case. We do not send the resume at this point. So they say, can you send the resume? And we say, absolutely. Happy to send the resume over. However, just to let you know, this candidate is being selective. We want to make sure that we get their buy-in before we share their information. And therefore, do you mind if we set up a short 10 to 15 minute call to make sure we understand the employer value proposition so that we can properly position it with the candidate and get their buy-in before we send it over. We're going to say it in a little bit more of a concise way than I just said it there off the top of my head. But that's essentially the standard response that we're going to send back. And there's going to be very few hiring managers that have an issue with that. They're going to respect the candidate's information just as much. They're going to understand that process, and they're going to know that they can't just have resumes for free. Anybody who's worked in a business and has worked with recruiters and has done any hiring knows that they're not just going to get free resumes of high value candidates. That's just not how it works. So don't ever fall into the trap of doing work for free and just sending a resume when you're asked for it. Okay, so that's one lead. Here's another lead. Is he located in the Baltimore area? Additionally, when you say construction safety, can you please elaborate? OSHA corporate safety versus MOSH contractor safety are very different. As you can see from our initial marketing, it's not like they're just going to come back and say, oh, fantastic. Here's an agreement. Here's money. They're not just going to pay you $40,000, $50,000 because you sent them one email. There's going to be a dialogue. There's going to be a back and forth. A lot of this is about how you navigate the conversation after there's a response. And that's really important. As you can see, again, we have one that says, can you please send over a redacted resume? We're looking for a mid-entry level type person. So again, this is a huge buying indicator, a huge indicator of interest. They're hiring. Looks like they're willing to work with a talent company or a recruiter. It's very clear that we are messaging them from a talent company. You can see that right here. So they know what the game is. They know they're going to have to pay a fee. And this is how this conversation starts. Here's a kind of a different lead. So this person just says, hey, I suggest that they contact one of the following. These are the major construction companies that utilize this type of operator. And then they list out the companies, which is actually really valuable because when you're working within a niche like this and you're marketing a certain type of talent, you want to know like who is it specifically who hires that talent. And this person who's who's an insider in the industry. It's just coming right out and telling us. So then we could go directly to those companies. We already know what their pain point is. We already know what they potentially want to hire, and we can go and pitch this talent to them. A lot of times, even when you don't get direct interest, what you're going to get is what I call some hot spots. You're going to know where to sort of do further research, identify new pain points, and invest more time in marketing further. Here's another one. Let's see the resume. Is this person looking for an exclusive BIM role or a PEPM role with BIM in their background? So what do we pitch? Working with a BIM manager profession in digital project management, currently looking for roles in your area. And then we just ask, interested in this expertise for your projects or someone's in your network. Notice it's like a really short message. We did not sit down and write like a long, drawn out, elaborate message. You can essentially just go right to a job board, see what a company is looking for, pick out the critical skill set, and fire that one line in there. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of examples of the type of messaging that we send out when we're marketing these candidate profiles. These are going to be the leads, and these are the leads that lead to the meetings, and they lead to agreements getting signed, and they lead to new clients. This is how it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and show you sort of behind the scenes what that looks like inside of our CRM. So for example, let me show you this campaign. You'll notice that this campaign is 12 steps. Okay. So each of these is an email, and notice that each of them we're pitching a different type of talent. So the way I want you to think of this is each of these emails is like a piece of bait in your tackle box. So in your tackle box, you have a robotics engineer with CAD experience. You have a local Python developer specializing in robotics. We have somebody else. We have an electromechanical technician focused on robotics, etc. Okay, these are very short emails. It's almost like a text message. And the reason we do it this way is because how many times have you gotten back from like a VP or a director or CEO or somebody like with a high title in a company? How often do you get back these like long drawn out walls of text? Zero. You don't get that. What you get is maybe like a couple lines, like one line. A lot of the time you get a text message. That's essentially what you get, is a text message. So we want to get across a lot of information in a very condensed format. So all it says is we recently met a robotics engineer specializing in CAD with a proven track record. They bring over 5 years of experience in streamlining development projects. Is it something you or somebody in your organization or network are looking for? Notice how quick we get that message across. We got the subject line, which captures their attention. They open it and we get the message across right away. It's not an intimidating message from the standpoint of requiring a lot of commitment. So all it says is first name. We recently met a local robotics engineer specializing in CAD with a proven track record. They bring over 5 years of experience in streamlining development projects. Might this be something you or someone in your organization or network are looking for? And every single one of these messages is going to say something similar. Exact same format again. Collaborating with a local Python developer, deeply skilled in robotic applications. Could their expertise fill a gap in your current projects? So if one doesn't get a bite, you throw out the next one. What happens when you go to the lake and your bait doesn't get bitten? Well, you tie a different one on and you throw it in again until you find out what the fish are hungry for. Are they hungry for an electromechanical technician? Are they hungry for a local systems integration specialist in robotics? Are they hungry for a local expert in robotic welding? Sooner or later, through our 12 messages, we're going to hit on the right bait and they're going to be hungry for it. We're going to get them at the right day, at the right time, at the water conditions, and everything's just perfect. So that's essentially how we're building these campaigns. If you're specializing in this niche, you've got an inventory of these types of people, and this is what you specialize in, you got to find out which ones they're hungry for right now. That's what this campaign is doing. Take a look here. You can see we're sending it out to a fair amount of people. This construction campaign went out to, so this means construction hiring managers, 50 to 200 head count. Another one, construction hiring managers, 200 to 1,000 head count. Then I got another one here, construction hiring managers, all head counts, more titles, right? So we filtered it in different ways and we sent it out. This one went out to 1,600. This one went out to 1,400. This one out to 1,700. This went out to 2,000. We're firing these out to a lot because this is not one-to-one marketing. This is not super personalized marketing. This is a spray and pray approach in a sense. Am I suggesting that this is the only marketing that you do? Definitely not. I've also shown you how to do some more one-to-one marketing, which is where you're actually looking for a specific pain point and personalizing your message specifically to the right hiring manager and specifically for that exact pain point. So you got to do both of them. You got to hit it from different angles. You got to hit it from the one-to-one marketing. You got to hit it from the bulk casting a wide net marketing, which is what this is. Phone marketing, LinkedIn marketing. Like there's a bunch of different forms of marketing that we have to do to make sure that we get clients. So if we're hitting it from a whole bunch of different angles, if you have these campaigns running in the background, these are going to be generating leads constantly for you while you're doing your one-to-one marketing, while you're investing more time in each individual prospect. Some people like to shoot a short little video for each prospect. If you want to do that, wouldn't it be better is if while you were doing that type of activity, this sort of system was running for you in the background, generating these leads like this? Of course it would. So that's what this is. So we're pitching talent that we know that these hiring managers are going to want. Now, how do we get these people? How do we get all this data? One of the ways you can do it is you can find some folks in Loxo Source, right? We're in Loxo here. That's the platform that we're in. You could find some folks in Loxo Source, but another way to do it is over here in, of course, Sales Navigator. So Sales Navigator is going to be an important platform for this. As you can see here, this is one form of filtering that we did for the construction niche. You got to play with different titles. One thing that you can do to find a whole bunch of alternative titles if you want is you can go to ChatGPT and just say, provide a comprehensive list of alternative titles for X. So here we're doing Director of Project Management, Vice President of Construction. We want to get like high level titles that have construction in the title. So you could say, hey, ChatGPT, give me a comprehensive list of all the alternatives for this title. And you could go through tons and tons of alternative titles. Then you could just say, now put that into a Boolean string. And I'm going to show you where I've done that, where I've gotten ChatGPT to make this big, huge, long Boolean string that hits every title you could possibly hit in the niche all at once. But a lot of times you can't scrape all of those at once. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to scrape as many emails as we can from Sales Navigator here, but you can only do 2,500 at a time. So if you've got way more than 2,500, you're going to have to find a way to segment that list. In this case, you'll notice that we've done it by headcount. If we go back to Wizza, take a look at the lists. This is how we're scraping. We can see that we've done it in 200 to 1,000 headcount. We've done it in 50 to 200 headcount. We've done it with different titles, all headcounts. So if we look at this list, it's going to be a little bit different. So now we're using Director of Field Operations, Vice President of Project Development, Human Resources Director, Vice President of Human Resources. Sometimes you might want to go to Human Resources. Sometimes you might have a campaign that's more for finance because it's more about the money side, the dollars and cents of why they should use a recruiting agency. That's another type of campaign that we like to run a lot. Sometimes you got a campaign that should go directly to HR. And a lot of times you're going to get a line manager, a hiring manager interested in your candidate, but then they have to get HR on board. They have to go lobby HR for you. And you're going to need content that is going to enable you to get greenlit as a vendor with HR or procurement or finance. Anyhow, all I'm showing you here is different ways we like to filter. So as you can see, we like to use the industry filter a lot for this as well. So once we're ready to go on this, I've got the Wizza extension installed. Let's say that this was a list. As you can see, we've got them neatly packaged into 2.5K results because that's the most that Wizza is going to be able to scrape at one time. So you got to make sure your lists are less than that. When we're ready to scrape, we're just going to hit export. We're going to hit select. We're going to name our list. We're just going work emails. Next step, start scan. Okay, that's going to spit out a CSV file that we're then going to take to Loxo, create a list. So you're going to want to name your list, whatever it is. So if we look at all the names of the lists that we have here, corresponding to the types of campaigns that we just ran. So there's the construction hiring managers, 50 to 200 headcount, construction hiring managers, 200 to 1,000 headcount, etc. Then we're going to import, once you create your list, then we're going to import the CSV. So if we go, let's just say that this is our list, we're importing it. then we got to map the fields. So I go email, first name, last name, title, location, LinkedIn. Those are the critical ones that I like to do. So we're just mapping the fields from the spreadsheet, the CSV file, and we're mapping it to the fields in Loxo so that Loxo knows what to do with these fields and knows how to use the data. So we go title, location, LinkedIn URL. Oh, I missed that one. There we go. Company. Now we're going to scroll down, make this a contact, find your list, construction, whichever one it is, choose that, click submit, wait for it to populate. And then once the list is completely built, you can find it here, select all, add to campaign, choose your campaign, construction, boom, put it in there, add, it's going to add everybody to your campaign, and that's going to start sending. What's the cadence that we like to use? The 2-day delay. So we might have done that because maybe it was a holiday. Maybe we wanted to go out on a Tuesday, something like that. Let's say it was already Tuesday. I was getting this campaign fired up. I would probably have 10-minute delay there just so that we could wait for all of the contacts to add to the list before it starts sending. Then I like to switch up the cadence. You'll notice 3-day, 5-day, 1 week, 3-day, 5-day, 1 week, 3-day, 1 week. 5-day, 1 week. Sometimes you can do 4 days. Switch it up a little bit. This is not something where you're like an influencer and you want them to get an email at the same time every single week. It's not like that at all. What you're trying to represent is that these candidates are coming in, they're coming through your office, or they're landing on your desk, or you're interviewing them and you're letting your network know about it as they come in. That's essentially what this exercise is, and it works extremely well. So if you want clients, this is going to work for you. As you can see, you've got to be pinpointing in-demand talent. But if you continue to throw that bait in the water, you're going to get bites and you're going to get clients.